So yeah, growing up with parents for me is a special thing. I'm just a very headstrong individual. As my dad always used to say to me, so long you never bring police to the door. It's crazy. My dad never liked football. Didn't understand it. Didn't like it because he didn't understand it. So when I was growing up, he always used to say to me, I can't play football.
Right.
I remember saying to him, Pops, I think I'm half decent.
Yeah.
So my head fell off. I'll go out, nick a night out or whatever, come home, boom. Could be 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, boom, there you go, give him the baby, all them kind of vibes, you know what I'm saying?
Andy Cole, one of the Premier League's greatest strikers, rose to fame with Manchester United, winning multiple titles, including the historic treble in 1999. Despite his success on the pitch, his life off it was a battle, struggling with depression, a public divorce, and severe health issues, including kidney failure. His story is a reminder that even legends face struggles beyond the game.
If I don't have my pride, what do I have?
Wow, big statement. Welcome back to the show Behind the Scenes. Today I'm honoured to have such a guest as Andy Cole. I genuinely am honoured. As much as I'm an Arsenal man, this is personal for me. Yeah, as I know he's a Man United legend, but what he's done for me personally as a black young footballer myself and now as a man is more than I can ever imagine. So to sit in the presence of him, I humbly introduce you, Andy Cole. Today we're just going to talk about everything that we don't know about Andy Cole. So what we do know is the glitz and the glamour, top goal scorer, our legend. But we're going to dive into the human side of Andy Cole, the human side that connects me, the human side that connects you. And let's enjoy the show. Andy, thank you.
No problems, man.
Thank you. It's an honor to be in your presence, as
Thank
I
you.
said. I'm going to get in straight to it. The show's called Behind the Scenes for a reason. I'm sure, as you know, on our timelines, we see a lot of everyone's talking about what they've done and how great they are. That's just the world that we're in right now. Seeing is believing. But I'm more on, as you know, you've been following me for a while. I'm more on the positivity and the stuff that we don't see. And I wanted you to come on the show so we can get to know Andy Cole, as in not the Man United legend, not the Newcastle legend, Andy Cole as a human being. So let's go straight from the beginning. Who's Andy Cole away from football when he was a youngster?
Simple brother.
Simple brother.
Simple brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I was born in
Born and raised, yeah.
Yeah. I was born in Nottingham. Left there when I was 14, moved to London.
Okay.
Because I was at Arsenal when I was a kid.
Right.
Yeah, things didn't work out the way I would have liked at that time, but such is life. You know, you move on to things and then you realise that path was not the right path for you to go down. So yeah, simple as that.
What was life at home like? It's a double parent home, mum and
Yeah,
dad
yeah.
around?
I've been very, very lucky. I lost my dad, nearly 3 years ago now.
Condolences. May so rest in peace.
So yeah, growing up with parents for me it's a special thing. You know, because I've known no better.
Right.
You know, so to know that I've grown up with my 2 parents, 6 sisters, 1 brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big family.
Big family, yeah. You could say I'm a little bit close to my feminine side, but
Right.
a lot of people wouldn't agree with that, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so like I said, I think when you grow up in a big family, you know, when you're young, everything was about love, and then unfortunately, when you start to grow, those kind of things seem to disappear. But yeah, home life was good. Yeah, my dad was a stern individual.
Okay.
Yeah, more interested in going to school, getting the right education.
Okay.
I think it's a typical Jamaican.
Okay.
You know, you go to school, you listen, you learn. You got no chat for the teacher and all them kind of things. You know what I mean?
Old school discipline.
Yeah, straight.
Right.
Yeah.
Was he born back home or was
Yes, he
born
was.
here? Okay.
Yeah, so both my parents were born in Jamaica. My dad was born in Kingston. So yeah, you know home life back when you're young in a Caribbean household.
Yeah.
So you know how it goes, man.
Nah, I do. And then you moved over to from Nottingham to London. Was that because of Arsenal in general?
Yeah, that was because of Arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it helped. It helped my mum and dad when I was younger as well, because I actually left home when I was 14. To be fair,
Okay.
I went to a national school for football for 2 years.
Nice.
And I think I made that decision because when I was young and growing up with the people I was growing up with, you know the way we grew up when we're young. Everything's a madness.
Yeah.
You know, you get to a certain stage and everything's a madness. So I kind of like made that decision when I was 14 because me and my dad were always at loggerheads.
Right.
You know, I realize now because I'm a grown man now. I get it now. But when you're young, you know, as my mum used to say to me, 2 balls in 1 pen don't work.
It don't work.
You know.
Yeah.
And I was constantly, even to this day, I don't know why. I was always constantly challenging my dad for whatever reason. I'm just a very headstrong individual. So I made that decision when I went through all the trials to get into national school. I was like, yo, I might as well go, yeah. Because I'm now stay out of trouble for 2 years. At least for 2 years, I know I'm going to be good.
Right.
Good in the sense whereby I know I can't get in trouble, but not good in the sense to whereby, yeah, I'm actually going to be good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I took that opportunity to go there for 2 years, and yeah, it was different, you know, growing up with we've got 15 other boys,
Okay.
dormitories and all them kind of things.
So similar to like a boarding school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you got the year above you, you know, within the first week of you joining, you know, they stick it on you straight away, and then that's when you got to start making your boundaries with people.
Right.
So yeah, it's an interesting experience, definitely.
Growing up the way we grew up, I'm sure we've got similarities. Do you think that helped you when they were trying to stick it on you?
Oh,
it gave you that bit of a grit.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
For me, it was funny because me, when I was younger, growing up with my elders always used to say, obviously, you're going to have to deal with certain things in certain ways, but there was times when your elders used to give you some good licks.
Yeah.
You know, and you just had to take it on the chin.
I agree.
You know? So for me, when I left and joined the national school for 2 years, and the elders used to stick it on my eyes and laugh, man, because no one actually knows where you're coming from. No one don't know your journey to why you got to that position.
Yeah.
So for me personally, it was a minor to me.
Right.
I kind of enjoyed it. I ain't gonna lie, still.
Yeah. Yeah, because you probably faced much more.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So that's around the 14, 15 era. Let's go into, you know, when you're going into like, you know, your 20s, your 21st, you know, you start to think that you're somewhat of a man. What was that like for you being you've come out of scholar level now, you know, and you're 21, you think you're a man, you're in the game. What was that, the beginning stages like? Because being, you know, a Caribbean young man in the ends with the Mandem to then becoming a pro and being 21, like what does that look like? Or what did that look like, should I say?
For me, I'll be honest, it never really changed for me.
Okay.
Ultimately, you just got to box a little bit more cleverer. And that was always my mentality, you know. Yeah, I play football. I've always wanted to play football, but for me, I couldn't drop the people that I'd been around.
Okay.
You know, so my journey was going to be my journey. At times, yeah, you just got to take that step back. You know, like I said, box clever, but continue to do what you believe is right for yourself. So when I was that age, 21s and that, being at Arsenal, going out on loan, coming back, just trying to enjoy my football to the best of my ability. Even if that time was difficult as well, because I genuinely believed I was good enough to be playing in Arsenal's first team at that age. Yeah. Yeah.
So you've always kind of believed in yourself.
Yeah, because my parents used to say, especially my mum always used to say, you know, you can be anything you want to be. You know, as a black man, you can be anything you want to be. Don't let no one tell you that you can't do something or you cannot be something. Don't forget, when we grow up in a generation at school, your teachers always try and tell you what you are, what you're going to be.
Yes.
So when I was young, my teachers always used to say to me, you know where you're going to end up.
Yeah, we've all heard it. You're going to end up in McDonald's. You're going to the negative talks, right?
Exactly.
But your mum was always affirming to you.
Always, yeah. Always telling me what I couldn't do. And like my dad was like, when I was younger, let's go to school and learn your book. You know,
old school.
Yeah.
Right. Was he be a doctor, be a lawyer? Was he that sort of dad?
As my dad always used to say to me, so long you never bring police to the door.
Right.
I mean,
that was enough for him, right?
Yeah, that was enough for him. So like I said, that's why ultimately I made those decisions when I was younger, you know, to try and say to my dad, okay, I hear what you're saying. You know, at times, things do go a little bit pear-shaped still, but I try my best not to do that. So like I said, when I was 21-ish, I already had in my head what I wanted to do. I wanted to play professional football. I believed I was good enough to play professional football. I believed I was good enough to be at Arsenal. But like I said, going out on loan, doing okay out on loan, going out on loan again, and then finding out that Arsenal want to move me on, all that kind of thing. I think those kind of things really challenged me early doors. So in my head, like I said, I just got my head down. And I've always been the same individual when I was like 14, 18, 20, 21, whatever it may be. I've always been focused on doing what I want to do.
Now, it's easy for me to just skip on to that. We work with young people, myself and my organisation, Step Now, and we try and install all of these things you said to the young people about the resilience and having a headstrong. A lot of the kids we work with, when you ask them what do you want to be, they're like, I don't know. That's the typical answer, the shrug. You're saying that you always knew. Now, I want to go to the wiring, not just for myself, to even educate, like market research, to help the young people how to get that installation of knowing that I knew what I wanted to do, and not just knowing, because some people dream, you think in your head, I want to be a footballer, but actually doing it. Where did that come from? You mentioned obviously mum's affirmations, but like the wiring must have been deeper than just the affirmations, because your mum, I think every mum says you can be whatever you want, but where's that installation where you're like, this is what I want to do and I'm target driven to do it? Such a young age as well.
I think that comes from my father, my grandfather, and my mother. I think to know what their journey was when they first came to England, you know. And the maddest thing is my dad never ever spoke about his journey when he landed in England. The only one thing he said, he was given an address. Go to this place and you'll have a board. So my dad said he went there, obviously got off the plane in his short sleeve shirt like he was still in Jamaica. Yeah, and those kind of things I'll always laugh at. And he said he went to the address. The man that he was supposed to meet wasn't there, but his wife was there. And I remember him telling me that the woman said, I can take your bag in, but I can't take you in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, deep.
Yeah. So when he was telling me things like that, I'm like, no, I'm not having that.
Yeah.
I couldn't have it, but
right, I get you.
he was saying, obviously, that's what he had to go through. So when he's telling me stories like that, and then my granddad, his journey in coming to England, in my mindset was, all right, cool. But I'm not having anyone talk to me like that.
Yeah.
I mean, so when you talk about the wiring, it's like, there it is there. I mean, whatever you told my mom, my dad, or my granddad, you ain't telling me.
Right.
You know, so I know what I want. I want to play football. I know my teachers telling me you're going to end up in this position, you're going to end up in jail, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I'm saying to myself, all right, cool.
Right. That kind of like prove them wrong sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's always been my mentality.
Prove people wrong. Yeah, but more so for yourself as well, because it's not just completely fueled on just them. It's like even proving to yourself that I can do this as well, I'm assuming. Yeah,
you always have to prove to yourself that you can do what you want to do. But when I was growing as a kid and aspiring to professional football, all my mindset was, all I ever want to do is like make my parents proud. So that was it, you know what I mean? I knew when I was growing up how difficult it was. Financially, how difficult it was and all those kind of things. So my mentality was, all right, cool. I'll get my head down, I know every now and then I'm going to get into a little bit of disciplinary problems or whatever it may be, but sometimes you just got to deal with those and just strive to be the best that you can be and make your parents proud. So that was always kind of like my mentality.
Right. I'm hearing that kind of was your why then. Would that be fair to say? That was your why?
Yeah. Definitely.
No, wicked. And credit to your parents, you know, may dad soul rest in peace. But it sounds like he was an influential part of your upbringing. You know, he showed you the ways, he showed you the hustle, the bustle, and it kind of gave you that character that you have throughout your career. Yeah,
my dad it was a funny one, my dad. My relationship with my dad when I was young was just mad. And I never appreciated just how much my dad gave me when I was young until I got to a certain age when my relationship with my dad turned on its head and it was totally opposite.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In the end, my relationship with my dad was brilliant in the end. But when you're growing up, you're young, I mean, you want to do things, you want to test your father for whatever reason it may be. And for some reason, I always want to do that, you know? Not that I want to do it, it's to say I'm being disrespectful, but I mean, when you're out of road and you're doing your thing and then you're going home.
I get
You
you.
know, your dad's challenging you a little bit. So yeah, it's crazy. My dad never liked football. Didn't understand it. Didn't like it because he didn't understand it. So when I was growing up, he always used to say to me, can't play football.
Right.
I remember saying to him, Pops, I think I'm half decent.
Yeah.
My dad was saying to me, He said, as a black man, you cannot make a living playing football.
Wow.
You can play cricket. You can make a living playing cricket.
But you can't play football.
You can't play football.
Right, at them times there, the representation in football wasn't of our people.
No, not really. No, not really. And I remember saying, I said, no, Pops, I'm decent. I think I can. My dad said, no, I'm going to.
I hear it.
You know? So yeah, and just having that convo, and I remember he said to me one day, he said, for you to strive and do anything in football, you're going to have to be 3-4 times better than your white counterpart. And I didn't understand it when he said it to me. But I tell you now,
it was
he
true.
wasn't wrong.
It was true, yeah. So you had to literally work 3 times harder than your white counterpart.
Yeah, 100%.
And was that throughout your whole career?
Throughout my whole career, even to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. Nothing really changed. Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. Let's get onto the career. So now you're an established footballer. You know, as much as Dad didn't want you to be one, you became one, right? What was it like when you woke up the first time and said, I'm actually a footballer? You know, not youth level no more, not under 18s, not, you know, fringe reserve. Like when you was a fully pledged first team player, what was that like for you mentally and emotionally, to be honest?
I think growing up as a kid, you know, growing up in England as well, we all want to play football. I mean, that's what we want to do. So when I became a professional footballer, and then I was perceived as a young pro playing regular first team football. You know, that's part of the journey you've always wanted to be on. You know, but that's just the start of your journey.
Yes.
Now, as the start of your journey, you have to maintain for however long you're going to be in the game. I didn't understand how many ups and downs were going to be on that journey, because when you're doing it, you're thinking, everything's calm, and you're just going to keep doing it. Everything's going to work out the way you want it to work out. You know, so when I was younger, I was just enjoying it. I ain't going to lie. I was enjoying it. I was just doing what I wanted to do.
Right.
Play football, play like I was playing on the park, and just enjoying what I was doing. I'm not going to lie. Sitting here reminiscing now, because I'm really and truly then when you're not under no pressure really. You know, going out there, enjoy it. You want to try and get to the next level, but for you to get to the next level, just go and do your thing. So yeah, for me, it was fulfillment. Just go and enjoy myself.
Okay. You speak about fulfillment and enjoying yourself, and I'm happy that you did. What was the first time or first moment where you felt like this is a hard time? You know, at the height of your career, like this is a hard time, whether that's personal, whether that's financial. What was the one time when you was in your career and you was just like, yeah, I'm going for it right now?
Yeah, I think you always go through something in football, in life, or whatever maybe. But I remember my time at Newcastle. I love being at Newcastle. I enjoyed playing football then. I'm not an individual who ever wanted accolades.
Yes, I can, even till this day, you're just quite subtle with it.
Yeah, that's not my bag. And I mean, I'm uncomfortable in all that.
Yeah.
You know, and being at Newcastle, like I said, I enjoyed it. And then you go in there and then everyone's looking at you. You're the guy.
You're the man.
Yeah. I mean, you're the guy, and if Newcastle don't play well or don't score goals,
it's on you.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's not really me. You know? I'm in a team frame here. You know, I love playing in a team frame. Yeah, unfortunately, I score goals and all that, but I don't want to be singled out as that guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'll work with everybody. I'm saying, and then you go through a little tough patch, or there's one time at Newcastle, I ended up falling out with the manager.
With Keegan at the time.
Yeah. And then you go to those little melees and that, and then it's like, yo, what's actually happened there? You know, enjoying it, everything's going rosy, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, out of nowhere. And it's kind of like, someone pressed that reset button as if to say, work it out, you know? And then because I hit the ground running, to work it out was like, yo, what? How do I actually work it out? Because everything's just gone up and up and up and up. Excuse me. And now I've got to work this out. I'm like, yo, how do you work this out? You know, because I've never been in that position where I've had to work it out. I mean, you know, as men and men, I ain't gonna sit down and have a convo with nobody about, yo, can you try and make me work this out? So yeah, it's just a case of thinking on my feet, which I did in the end.
Did you have like a mentor at Newcastle when you was going through to figure it out stage?
No, my mentor was me.
Literally,
my mentor was me, and I mean me. I mean, speak to my brother every now and then, but because I was living by myself them times, and I'm still a young man. Yeah. I'm early 20s. So I'm about, when I went to Newcastle, I joined when I was 23-ish. Yeah, 22, 23-ish.
Up and all the way to Newcastle by yourself.
And I'm like, you go home, 4 walls, you and them 4 walls. Right. I'm like, yo, how you gonna
what's that like? What's that like? You know, because, you know, growing up, I played football as well, not to your level, of course, but, you know, it was my dream, and, you know, you fantasize about all the great things. But like you said, when all the fans have gone, I mean, Newcastle's what, is it 40 or 50,000? Yeah. When all the 40 or 50,000 is gone and it's just you in those 4 walls, what is that like for a black man up in North by himself with no family?
I think that the first few months were really hard because I ended up buying renting a place that was in the middle of nowhere, but I knew no better. Right. I remember Kevin said to me, right, the training ground was in a place called Durham. I want the place to be close to the training ground in Durham, so I rented a place in Durham. So, and then it was just a little village. And I mean, the people were lovely, but I would go away. I'd come back to London for the weekend after a game or whatever. Okay. And I'll get back on the Sunday, and then Monday I'll go to the train. I'll come home from training, and then I'll have my neighbours like knocking my door. Say, hi, Mr. Cole, you okay? Right. Do you need any milk? Do you need any? It's like the advert, you know. I'm like, I'm not used to this nonsense. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because for me, the way we grew up was like, nah, you know. But they're so nice, and man. So I'm like, oh man, I can't actually handle this, you know. People knocking my door every 2 minutes. Can we help you with this? Right. Can we help you with that? Yeah, I'm not used to it. So I remember I was there for, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months. I said, no, I can't do this no more. I mean, and then my head just kind of like fell off. And I had to move. So they said, we'll move into Newcastle. Okay. So I actually moved into Newcastle then, because as nice as it was, my head was falling off. You know, that's what people fail to understand. You know, you go, you play football, you go home, and it's just you by yourself. And I rent a big house as well. I don't know why I rented such a big house by myself, but I did. And then it was just playing football, intensity by myself. It was getting harder and harder. You know, and I found that a real difficult stage. And like I said, once I moved into Newcastle, things changed because a few more of the boys used to live there. My big mate at the time, Lee Clark, used to live there as well. So we used to nick a night out and all those kind of things. So yeah, it made me feel a little bit more comfortable, but I wasn't worried about going home to 4 walls anymore. So that made things a little bit easier.
Cool. Now the big move. Man United, arguably some would say the biggest club in the world. Obviously they're going through their hard times now, but they are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. As much as that hurts me to say it, it's the truth. What was that like, Manchester United, putting on that shirt and playing for Man United?
For me, it was such a surreal moment due to the fact that I'd been in the Premier League a season and a half with Newcastle. Yeah. And then out of the blue, the deal was done, and I mean proper out of the blue. I just played a Sunday, trained the Monday as per normal, got a phone call that Monday night, right, the deal for you got a Man United is on. Quick. Rapido. Like I said, a year and a half in the Premier League. I'd established myself, i.e. by scoring goals. Yes. But not established myself as an individual in the Premier League. So when it come about, big shock. Big shock.
Did anyone help you integrate? Was there any sort of help, or was it straight in as soon as the transfer happened, you're in?
There was no such thing as that process.
Serious. Even though it was a big move and whatnot,
No.
no one's there to like help you settle in, help your mental, help you grasp what's happened.
No, where the game's changed now, that would happen. I remember, like I said, leaving Newcastle the Monday, have the meet with Manchester United the Tuesday, signing. I can't remember if we had the day off the Wednesday or whatever. Train the Thursday, first training session at Old Trafford, getting introduced to all the players, new teammates, captain. And then it was like, yo, you're here now.
Right.
We do our best to look after you. Get a house sorted as quick as possible, all those kind of things. Just come and do what you do best.
Just school goals.
Yeah, and back in those days, that was like standard.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing back then as well, like I said, my ex was expecting my first child.
Okay.
Back then.
So that's your first child was the Man United move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just mad. I remember saying to her, right, obviously I was up Newcastle, right, and I said, obviously as you're expecting the baby, and that you need to come up to Newcastle.
Right.
She said, no, I'm not moving to Newcastle. So you imagine when you're expecting your first child, and your girl told you, I'm not moving, I'm not moving.
Yeah,
your head falls off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my head fell off,
Mm.
you know? And then I got to Man United, and then she's due any time now. Just signed for Man United. Due any time now.
Wow.
Yeah, so I signed for Man United in the January. And then we get to May, and she's due May time. So I've only had a few months at Man United, right? So go, and Man United are going for the title. So I'm invested in two things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So being invested in two things, and Man United have brought me there to try and help them win the Premier League. And I mean, I've got to make sure that I'm trying to be to the best of my ability. But like I said, my girl at the time, she's pregnant. And I'm like, oh man. So I'm trying to juggle two things at once. So like I said, during Man United, got nowhere to stay. Well, no, I wouldn't say nowhere to stay, because they give you option, right? You can stay in a hotel until you find somewhere to live. So I was like, cool. So the guy representing me at the time said, no, you might as well stay with me. Might as well stay with me till you find yourself a house.
Yeah, till you settle in and whatnot.
Yeah. I said, all right, cool, I'll do that. So yeah, that was my little like bedding in process.
Can I ask a question on that? Because I'm an Arsenal man, and of late, recently, I think Odegaard, Kai Havertz, and one more player all had babies at the same time. I think it was like last month, right? And when I was young, I didn't care about your personal. If you're not doing the job, I was an armchair fan, just gassed up. They're not performing. But now I'm a bit older, and one of my partners does like a talent and development program, and he talks about the behind the scenes stuff about footballers. So it's kind of made me more conscious now. I've been working with him and understanding behind the scenes. I had Grace. Odegaard weren't performing, but then I found out he just literally had a baby like a week before. So when I saw like all the vlog pages, everyone insulting him, my mature mind was like, well, he just had a baby. Maybe the sleepless nights. Maybe his partner's saying similar things that I don't want to move and whatnot. Is these things real? Do they really affect the play?
Do they? I'll tell you my story. This is my story. Yeah? So we got to end of April, coming into May, and this is crescendo time. Yeah, so we play Southampton. I think it might have been a Wednesday night, whatever night it was. My ex went into labour a few days before, so I played on a Saturday, come straight back to London. Yeah, so she's in the hospital, and I sat with her from the game on the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If it was Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day, I sat with her. Yeah, the baby hadn't come. And I remember the manager calling me and said, look, Coley.
What's happening?
Yeah, we got the game. Like, we could.
Yeah, and you're going for the title, you said, right?
Yeah. So we played Southampton, and he's saying, so we could really do with you. Obviously, we need to win the game if we're going to have a chance to win the league. And I'm a young man. And I'm torn, because I'm actually saying to myself, look, Man United have brought me to try and help them win the Premier League. My girl's having my first baby at the time, so I'm like, okay. I've been there since Saturday. Yeah, she hasn't had the baby yet. yo, let man just do a quick move, yeah. Play the game,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Come back, and then everything's calm.
Right. Hopefully that can kill two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
That's what I'm thinking as a young man.
Mm.
So I end up getting the shuttle back up to Manchester. Yeah. Go home, get showered, go to the game, step into the dressing room, getting changed, boom. Coley, lose. She's had the baby. And I'm like, yo, this is mad.
This is wild.
Still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, boom, play the game. We end up winning the game 2-1. I'm fortunate enough to score.
Okay.
Yeah. Takes it to, I think it's the last game of the season or the second last game of the season. Learn that we still got a chance to win the league. Straight from the game, boom, straight back to London.
Yeah.
No mess up that. And they're sitting down with the young one. And then I got ourselves in there like, no, don't know if it's even 10 minutes, but I can't believe that you played the game. I can't believe that you left me have it as a babe. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. I'm like, yo, it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like
but
that.
she would never see
You know
that side. Yeah.
So I had to deal with that. And then obviously Man United that season go on. We end up not winning the league. We're not losing the league to Blackburn. So from that period of her having the baby and me trying to help Manchester United got to win the league, the drama I got versus every day.
And then to not win it as well.
Made it even worse.
Yeah, so all of that for nothing.
That's what I'm saying. And all getting, like I said, getting flack from the fans and the media. I mean, Man United, Andy Cole's cost Man United the league. Going indoors, I'm getting beer noise in my head. I can't believe this, I can't believe that. Boom, boom, boom. So like, do you imagine at 25, I'm still a young man. Mentally, I'm still young.
Figure out yourself.
You know what I'm saying? And then I've ended the season and my head is frazzled, bro. I ain't gonna lie, it's frazzled. Yeah.
I can imagine.
You know what I'm saying? Beer madness that I'm enjoying. I can't even enjoy myself still. So the man them and saying to me, yo, big man, come. Let's go out here, hold the juice and enjoy it. End the season now.
Let's catch a vibe now,
You know what I'm saying? So end the season, doing my thing, having a juice. I'll go out, nick a night out or whatever, come home, boom. Could be 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, boom, there you go, gives me the baby. All them kind of vibes, you know what I'm saying? Some man's hurting from a night out, juiced up and all that, you know what I'm saying?
And now I'm a daddy juice.
Yeah. So I said, all right, cool. So back then, I always used to like have a couple of holidays. So I'd go away with the boys and that.
And then go with the family.
Yeah. So I'll go with the boys, madness, 10 days, whatever, just go absolutely mad. Kind of 2 months time on bracket pre-season.
Back in it. Hill runs, all of that.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So go on a madness, take away. And like I said, all that summer, all I got was, I can't believe you do this. I can't believe you did that. So when you mention oligarch, I get it, because I've been
Yeah. And you know what, honestly, and thanks for sharing that, because I'll be honest with you, if one of my co-founders who's doing talent development, I wouldn't have ever, like, you as a fan, you don't care.
Yeah, you don't.
You sign someone, I want to see results.
Yeah.
But he's been educating me because I work closely with him. He's been educating me like football's deeper than what you just see. It is this, it is that. I spent the summer with him when he's doing a project, and he brought in an ex-footballer and he was talking about like going away to live in Plymouth Argyle, about the 4 walls. And I remember sitting into that session, I was like, I would never think about this. If someone signed for Plymouth, I'm not caring about you being how many hours away from your family. I want you to score. But when he broke it down, me and my co-founder partner was just like, wow, like, so it started to make me look at things a bit different. So when Odegaard and Kai, because they both had babies on the same day, and I remember Odegaard was getting slacked, back page, all of that. And I sat back after being educated and I was like, he just had a sleepless night. He's probably had his missus say to him the same thing that, you know, like what your partner at the time was saying to you is, why did you go to the game and this and that? But fans don't care.
No.
Now, I say all that to say this. Fans are brutal, especially now with social media. Your time was more press, or it was actual TV or OK Magazine, whatever it was at that time. When you're dealing with your missus giving you the slack, Man United fans are giving you the slack, and then yourself as well, because you're playing for Man United and it's your first time to state who you are. How was you dealing with all of this mentally? Because your missus, the manager at the time, Fergie, right?
Yeah.
Fergie, but the press, like everyone's pulling, and you're a 25-year-old man trying to figure out what you doing to keep your mental straight, other than going out of the lads, because as we know, that's a cover-up. You know, the going out of the boys, it's a deterrent. It's not really a coping mechanism. So what was you doing to keep your mind afloat?
Just that.
Just to man them.
Wow, just the man then going out, enjoy the summer. I just say, bun it, enjoy the summer. Yeah, because I'm an individual. Yeah, I can't take too much noise.
Okay.
100%. I can't take noise in my head. I'm like my dad. My dad always said, I can't take noise in my head. Yeah, and I switch off. Boom. And I'll proper switch off. I'm an individual. I don't talk a lot.
Right.
I mean, talking for me is overrated.
Rather observe and listen.
Listen. I mean, so when I was going through all that, I just switch off. Just do what I'm doing. I'm saying too much noise. I can't do it. So like I said, that year was just it's just a madness, man. I just said, let's go on a madness, man. You're gonna get it. Yeah, you might as well take it on the chin. Took it on the chin. Let's do what I'm doing. And the crazy thing is, I was looking forward to going back to pre-season so much because then I can switch. I can just concentrate on my pre-season. I can just concentrate on new seasons ahead. I mean, this is what I'm focusing on now. Background noise, I'm always going to get that, but I know as soon as I go home, switch off. Yeah. I'm up.
And back to training.
There you go.
So
and that was my coping mechanism.
Football. So you actually enjoyed going to work. It was like
yeah, definitely. Yeah, because just the camaraderie with the boys and that, and you forget about a hell of a lot of things when you're doing what you want to be doing.
Right.
You know, you're playing football. You're doing something that you love. You know, you do switch off. I mean, because the banter's going and
being around the lads.
Yeah, and you get that, and then you realize that the day's over. You got to go home, or whatever gonna come your way. You just deal with it to the best of your ability. Yeah, definitely.
Did they offer you help at that time, like therapy?
No, back in those days,
it wasn't
therapy. Come on, man, just man up, just straight man up.
Just straight man up. Wow. And
society's changed now. Football's changed, but growing up in the generation of football that I grew up, it's like, man up and get on with it. Shut up. Get on with it.
There's pros and cons of that, right?
Yeah, of course there is. But when you don't know any better,
that's what you're gonna do.
That's what you do.
Right. So that was happening at the beginning of your career at Man United. So now you're settled in and you're scoring your goals and you're doing the job. Was there any other moments that then set you back? Because when you started and you were scoring, you just started pulling them in. Was there any times when you then had another setback? Or was it just from that time onwards, you just started floating through and everything was fine?
I think for me, back then, it was more injuries. You pick up an injury. I remember my time at Manchester United at the start, it was a tough start, It was me trying to justify the fee.
Yes, with the fee. Yeah. Does that play on players?
It did me then, due to the fact that, like I said, I've been in the Premier League for 18 months. That wasn't a long time. Like I said, I did one full season at Newcastle. Left Newcastle the following January. Moved to Manchester United, and all of a sudden, everyone expects me to be just doing what I was doing at Newcastle.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I'd have to play a totally different game and just try to juggle the fee mentally. I said, I'm not being in that position. Juggle that, set myself right. You got to justify the fee instead of turn around and set myself if I was a few years older. Run the fee, ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm saying just do what you got to do. So I think when I went there, and I was trying to do that, trying too hard instead of trying to just be natural, just let it flow. But that was just my willingness to do well. Not knowing any other way how to deal with it, because there's no handbook in saying, right, you're in the Premier League for 18 months, and if you move to Manchester United within 18 months, this is the way I handle it. You handle it the way I thought I could do it the best, and it didn't work out that way. And it was tough. The first couple of years were very tough. Then injuries and illnesses, and then you start questioning yourself, like, is it going to work here? And I remember when I broke my leg, and I remember coming back from that, and mentally I was saying to myself, this is how it's going to go, When you come back from this injury, if you don't prove yourself...
Wow, that pressure.
Oh yeah, I put myself on that kind of pressure. If you don't prove yourself, you're not good enough.
So when you're doing your rehab, you got a Rocky Balboa on your head.
Oh yeah.
Just playing. I need to get back. I need to.
Yeah. I said, if this basically I said to myself, this is your last chance.
Wow.
And if you can't do it here, you're not good enough to be here.
Wow.
And then I got back fit, and then something clicked. And I scored goals.
Mm-hmm.
Did okay.
Yeah.
And then something came into my life, least expected, you know. And that changed a lot of things at Manchester United for me. Changed my career. When Yorkie came to Manchester United, it's like the big man turned around and said, "Yo, I'm gonna give you something, yeah. What you do with it, you do with it. But I'm giving you something." Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, your relationship with Yorkie, although you played in the same position, you actually kind of thrived together. Like it was like a good competition, and you actually came like brothers, which was phenomenal. Just even as an Arsenal fan, like I just enjoyed the White, York and Cole, you know. And you guys did amazing. Just not even for football, just for us as representation. Yourself, York, Righty, like it was massive for youngsters like myself in school, just seeing like our big bros on TV, just doing what they were doing. Man United was successful. It was an amazing career for you. You know, you won everything in football and you done well. Now, life after Man United, especially being at a club at that high, you know, how was that life after it, being at the greatest club? Like, what does life look like for someone that's left Man United and then either goes to a smaller club or retires or just stops football in general? Like, what is that life like?
And for me personally, I think leaving Manchester United was always going to be tough. You know, Manchester United is the pinnacle.
Yeah, it is.
Football.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
One of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest. You know, season in season out, you're battling to win. And that's, I've always been brought up on that mentality, you know, winner's mentality. Parents been.
Was you all like that at the club? Was it ingrained in every player there?
I think it was ingrained in every player. I think the manager did a job whereby he brought in players who had that mentality, wanted to win,
right?
Do anything to win, you know, and do it in a way whereby, I mean, they're very proud of it. So, like I said, and then to move on from Manchester United it was difficult. I'm not gonna lie, but for me, when you grow up with parents telling you, look, don't settle for second best, you know. Don't sit around taking money if you're not earning money.
Wow.
I mean, my dad always used to say that to me. Go to work. Sick, go to work.
Go to work. Yeah, old
school.
Same.
I'm like, yo, no days off. I remember when I was younger, my dad never used to have a day off. My dad could be sick.
He's still going in.
Still going to work. I'm just like, your pops, you're not well. No, you're going to work. Yeah, man. You know? And my granddad was the same. And they always used to say to me from when I was young, yeah, don't let anyone earn money for you. You earn your own money.
Wow.
It's that simple.
Model to you. Yeah.
Earn your own money. You know? Don't be proud if someone makes money for you and gives it to you. Go and do it yourself.
No handouts.
Yeah.
Love that.
So my mentality at Manchester United, when I wasn't playing the games I wanted to play, pride kicked in. I listened, my granddad was saying to me, my dad was saying to me, even though my granddad had passed by then, my dad always used to say to me, so that was always in the back of my head. Earn your own money. Don't rely on anybody. So pride kicked in and I said, yo, I'm sitting on the bench, I'm watching games. I might get 10 minutes. I might play against a Bolton on the Saturday. Got Real Madrid on the Wednesday or Tuesday. I'm not going to be playing.
Right.
I'm like,
you didn't feel like you contributed.
Yeah. I can't do that. I can't. I've been brought up. My granddad and my dad tell me, work. So my mentality was work. So I just set myself up. I can't do it. I remember saying to the boss, I need to move. I need to play games. I need to feel that, yeah, I'm contributing, giving my all. And I remember the boss said,
I respect it.
Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere. And he kept saying to me, no, you can't go. And then one day he said to me, you know what, your pride's going to kill you in the end. But I'm going to let you go. And I remember saying to him, boss, as a man, if I don't have my pride, what do I have?
Wow. Big statement.
Yeah, what's a man without his pride? And you know, black men as well.
Yeah.
They don't have pride.
But balance though, because too much pride also can be detriment to you.
Yeah. And I look back on my career and I'll be very honest. Yeah, at times my pride has killed me. But then I look myself in the mirror and I say to myself, who are you if you don't have it? I mean, the way your parents have dealt with you, the way your dad, your granddad, your mom brought you up. Not to sit around and like take handouts.
It became like a part of your identity. Somewhat. Yeah.
And people might look at me and throughout my career and say I'm arrogant, I'm surly, I'm this, I'm that. You don't know me. You don't know how I've grown up. You don't know what's got me into this position to whereby you could even say that about me. So
Yeah. No, I understand. Cool. So after football, retiring, I can't even imagine what that felt like because you've been playing football for 20 years. So that's all you've known. And then now you woke up and you're not playing the sport anymore. How was that?
I'll be honest, it didn't really bother me at the time. I've made my mind up that I'm ready. And once you make your mind up, you make your mind up. So I was ready to do that. I knew the generation of football was changing. And I just said to myself, I'm ready to retire now.
Okay. So you kind of like mentally prepared for it?
Yeah. I wasn't sure what I was going to do.
Okay.
I mean, I knew I didn't want to go into management. I knew
wasn't for
management wasn't for me due to the fact that I always said to myself, if I come across someone like me, I don't know how I'm going to deal with him. Because I was a manager's nightmare. I mean, I'm very honest about it. I speak my mind. I mean, someone pissed me off, I told them.
Call it as it is, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I said management's out the window. Did a bit of coaching, did my UEFA B. And then I'm like, nah, this is not for me. I can't have someone never played the game tell me how to coach.
Right.
So I made my mind up, after my UEFA B. I'm done with that. Sat around, and I remember, like I said, my ex-partner at the time said to me, there's no point being in the house with me because I've got my life. And when she said that to me, I went, okay.
Right.
Now man's got to go out and find something to do. So like I said, I was all kicking my feet for a minute, and then Man United said to me, "You're Coles, you want to come back and start doing some stuff with the club." And I'm like, no, that's not really me. And I remember the woman I spoke to said, "No, Coley, you'll be good at it. Come on, just try it once, and if you don't fancy it, you don't have to do it again." I kept saying, no. He said, "Well, come on, Coley, just do it." So I said, "Right, then I'll try it." Now, fortunately, I'm still in that position now whereby I'm still doing the same role. So without that, that young lady asked me to do that role, I'm not quite sure what I'd end up doing. Would I have gone to the coaching? I don't know. Would I have tried to run the management way either? I don't know. But I've been given that opportunity by Manchester United to go on and end up becoming a global ambassador for the football club was massive for me at that stage, definitely.
You fell ill, and it touched me when I was doing research on it. So I knew you felt ill through like the news and when you read, but I hadn't done research up until when we spoke, and then I said I'm having you on the show. I dug deep, and it was airborne.
Yeah.
It was airborne, and it really, really affected you. Like during that process, I'm sure like it was possibly the humblest moment of your life, knowing that I'm ill like that and I could genuinely pass away. How was that for you mentally? And not just for yourself, like even for viewers and myself, how did you deal with it? Was it faith? Was it family? Like what was the coping mechanisms for you to deal with it?
That for me was the hardest period that I'd ever gone through in my life. Because I've always been an individual that I've never relied on anyone.
Right.
Never.
Yeah, your dad's mentality.
Yeah, never relied on anybody. My sister, when I moved to London, I ended up living with my sister, my brother-in-law, and my niece and nephew. I remember my sister always used to say to me, "Ange, you have to trust people." I don't. I'm not good with people. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not good with people. I've got certain people and that's me. I remember saying, "You gotta trust me." I'm like, nah. Trusted 3 people. I thought, those 3 people that I trusted, every single one of them done me something in the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I got to my illness stage, like I said, it was a tough illness. I relied on one person, first time ever. Yeah, at the start, the individual, oh my gosh, brilliant. And I mean, brilliant. Do this, do that, boom, boom, boom. Had my transplant, and then that same individual that I was relying on, just like something switched. It's like that individual turned around and said, I ain't in this for the long run. Saying, hey, this long run ain't for me, you know. And then that person changed.
Right.
And then the other person started to find out what the other person was doing. I'm like, yo, that's two, man. Come on, man. I need something else now. Yeah. The third person that let me down stepped back into my life.
Okay.
And then started to show goodness, and then I realized that there was no goodness in there. So I went through that illness. I had 3 people that I trusted. They all done me over. Before that time and during that time. And mentally, I ain't gonna lie, my head was all over the place, scattered.
Yeah. I'm
saying, I wasn't sure if I was coming or going. Just to deal with the mental trauma of, nah, bruv, I don't trust no one. I don't need anyone. Then finally turn around and say,
I'm finally vulnerable, and then
yeah. And that's the first time in my life I've generally felt real vulnerable. I mean, I'm reaching out to, like I said, one individual, but start brilliant. Then in the end, this individual, the way she turned is like, yo, okay, that's calm.
That sounds good, yeah.
And then a lot of my boys stepped up. My sister, my nephews, were just amazing, man. A lot of my boys got me back on my feet and just saying, yo, come on, man, you need to fix that.
Yeah, come on, Andy, man.
Yeah, because I was so low. I'm like, yo, I'm not sure I can find myself out of this one, you know. They're like, yo,
you're better than that.
I'm saying, yeah.
Keep it going. Yeah.
You can't talk like that. I'm like, you don't understand how tiring it is when you find yourself in a position, yeah. You get there, you feel, oh, yeah, I feel all right now. And then boom, something happens.
Yeah. Back to medication or back to this, back to hospital. Yeah, the reset button. And
it was draining. But like I said, without those good people that got me back on my feet, like I said, my sister, my nephews, my boys and that, kids. But once my kids understood it, you know, it became a little bit easier for them, because as kids, kids naturally wire that.
What's happened to dad? Yeah.
I mean, dad was superhero, and now dad ain't superhero anymore. What if dad doesn't get till tomorrow and all those kind of things? But once they start to understand it, and like I said, my boys start to rally around me, like I said, my sister and all that, it became a little bit easier. And I started to understand the process a hell of a lot more than I did do before. Because it is a process. And the process is for me like, yo, okay, you've never needed anyone before, but sometimes you do have to rely on people that you think are going to help you. And that's what I had to do in the end. And the ones that stood up for me and helped me on the journey to where I am to now, being brilliant. The ones that didn't help me on the journey, it is what it is.
But it's never personal.
Definitely.
What would be your advice for anyone that's been through trauma, like you said, or an illness, or that's watching this and that's going through a real hard time, whether it's for a divorce, illness, whatever it is? What would be your advice, especially as a man? As you know, suicide rates for men are skyrocket high at the moment.
You got to get off your chest, you know. You got to talk about it, because like I said, the maddest thing for me when I found myself in that position, you know, I'm sick, very sick, and I'm going through a divorce at the same time.
Wow.
So you imagine marrying them two together, you're sick, you can just about get out of your bed.
Right.
Yeah, and then someone sticks on you that they want out.
Was that influenced because of the illness, or was you guys already on your way to divorce?
You know, I even whatever way I look at it, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because people show their true colours when you come around situations like that.
Yeah, they always say, it's easy to love you when you're on a high.
Yeah.
It's easy.
So I know what it feels like to go through that position of getting divorced, being sick, to whereby you can't even think properly, you know, and then someone's put you under pressure to make decisions. You know, I've been there, so I always say to people now, if they ever find themselves in that position, man, you got to find good people. You can sit down, you can talk and talk it through and talk about certain things, like what you're going through and what position you find yourself in mentally, physically, because you can't do it by yourself.
Right.
At the start, I thought, I mean?
Mm.
I'm just going to hold this and soldier it out.
Mm.
And then when I realized, big man,
Can't do it.
I can't do this, you know?
Find brothers or sisters that can
Yeah,
really pour
yeah.
into you. Find a community.
100%. You know, and I surrounded myself with those people. And like I said, that they helped me get myself out of a sticky situation still. Can't lie.
I love that.
And the thought process starts going all over the place. When you find yourself that a thought process going all over the place, you actually say to yourself, how am I going to get out of this circle? You know?
You feel stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I always say, you know what I mean, talk about it, man. You know, I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn bad. I mean, that's one of my worst traits. I'm stubborn. You know what I mean, that's generational. But at that stage, I was like, stubbornness can't work. You know? Can't work.
Humbled you.
Yeah, 100%. And just the way I view things now, the way I used to view things before is totally different. I always say to myself now, I will never understand my dad's journey when he was here and what he went through and what he's never spoke about before he passed. And obviously coming to England, how he was dealt with, how people treated him. I mean, having no family in England and making that journey to come to England, because without his journey and him coming to England, I don't have this conversation with him.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'll never understand his journey, you know, but I know it was tough. So the certain things that I've been through, it was tough, but I take strength from him.
I get you.
I mean,
and granddad.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I'll never forget them. Never.
No, I appreciate it. Do you know what? As you're just talking about it, the vulnerability, you're making me even think like certain times I'm going through things, and as positive as I am as what I do, sometimes I really hold things in until like it gets to critical, and that's when I offload. But listening to you, it's like, why do I always wait until it gets to critical? Maybe I should just start offloading from not at every opportunity because everyone's busy, but like maybe at a stage where it's not critical, but at the same time it's not just the beginning stage. Like find that medium, just phone one of my pals and just be like, do you know what, I'm struggling here, I might need a second opinion on this, or I might need that sort of that brotherhood just to help me get through this stage. So like you've genuinely inspired me, because I'm sitting there thinking I'm going through certain things in my life like we all do, and there's times when I've just thought, nah, my friend's too busy, and I keep it, and then it eats me up. So you've inspired me to, I'm gonna call a couple of my pals and just offload and let them know, listen, I'm going through this right now, so if you don't mind just chipping in. And it doesn't even need to be heavy, it could even just be us just linking up, going for food, and we just venting and just having a little laugh. So no, I appreciate it. Andy, we're coming to the end of the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being vulnerable.
Love.
I know as us men, it's the hardest thing to do. Everything else is easy.
That's when your pride goes to one side.
This is it. So thank you. And I'm saying thank you, not just for myself, but for the viewers, because you're going to inspire other people to be vulnerable. And hopefully we can lower the suicide rates that we face that are going skyrocket. So thank you so much for being on the show. Man.
Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Behind the scenes, as you know, we dug deep with Andy, and we got to know who Andy Cole is away from football. He was very vulnerable. He shared a lot. I hope you guys had your notepads out. And most importantly, I hope that you guys can also be vulnerable and find your community and know that you ain't alone. Take care. God bless. Thank you.